Today I'll be showing you how to properly change a tire. Did you know that every second there are 7 tire punctures in the U.S.? That's over 220 million flat tires per year. Today I will teach you some tips on how to change a tire because I believe it's a very vital skill to have. I mean, the fact that there's so many tire punctures every second, it's pretty possible that everyone in this room is going to come across that day where you're going to have to change a tire on your own. So hopefully after this you'll be able to understand better how to change a tire. Okay. First I'm going to explain the materials we're going to need. Obviously you're going to need a spare tire, a lug wrench or tire iron, air impact if you have it. That's what I use at my house. That's a regular lug wrench and tire iron. A jack, scissor, that comes with a regular spare tire or a hydraulic if you have an aftermarket one. A flat head screwdriver or flat sturdy object, I'll explain why you'll need that in a minute. And a tire pressure gauge is optional. That's just to check the tire pressure of the tire. And it's, you can buy them for a few dollars at a convenience store or something like that. Now jacking up the car, this is what's really important. In your manual, in your car owner manual, it'll tell you lift points of the car, safe lift points. Mostly on the body frame, on the sides of the car where you'll want to lift the car. And if you don't have a manual, we'll talk about that in a minute. But a pinch rail, if you have a standard jack like this with a spare tire, you'll just simply stick it under closest to the desired tire you want to take off and jack it up. And then you can take the tire off. Or if you can't find a solid part, you can go to a solid part of the frame. Like this person in the bottom chose the actual frame right beside the control arm to lift the car. Okay, let's see. Now that we've got our materials, we can focus on lifting the car and all that. First, you take a screwdriver. If you have a lug cap, you'll want to remove that so you can get to the lug nuts. Next, after you remove that, you'll want to loosen the lug nuts before you jack the car up. This will make it easier because once you're in the air and you try to loosen the tire, it's just going to be spinning. It's going to make it harder on yourself. So you'll want to loosen them and get them off there before you jack the car up. Next, you can go ahead and jack the car up. This is my personal car, as you can see. You'll go ahead and jack the car up. I found my lift point, like you'll find in your manual. Next, you'll want to take off that old tire. You just pull it right off, set it aside. I didn't have no reason to put a spare on, so I just put the same tire back on. You put on the new tire, and once you have the new tire on there, you're going to want to set it flush up against the hub. You don't want any movement. And then after that, you can hand tighten every single lug nut. Just hand tighten. And after you get them hand tight, most cars you either have 4 lugs or 5 lugs. The rest, unless you have a diesel truck, they don't apply to you. These are the tightening patterns you'll use to tighten your lug nuts. You don't want to tighten one lug nut all the way. You want it to be even. I like to think of 4 lugs as a cross. You start at the top and go down, left and right. It's like crawling across. You do it evenly. You tighten a little bit at a time until they're all tight. The next is 5. I like to think of it as a star, obviously. The easy way to remember it is they're all diagonal. Each lug nut is diagonal from the one you will be tightening. So, like that, like that, like that, and like that. It's pretty easy to remember. If you want to take a picture of it, you can. You can find it on Google. That's what I did. But I learned this by working at Ford. This is where I used to work before I came to school. I was a mechanic, and also, like we talked about last class, I was a race car driver. Before that, I worked on cars for Richard Petty. I brought my badge. So yeah, okay. Now that we have that done, you can begin to start cleaning up, and replace the lug cap and lower the car. Now after you replace the lug cap, you want to be really careful about lowering the car. Some jacks, depending on how often you use them or how well they're lubricated, it might not go down as smooth as they should. So be very gentle and go slow when you lower the jack. That way, it goes completely down and you don't hurt something on your car. And now you stow away all the materials that you use, and the old tire